Good now, everybody, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Thursday. It's October 3rd. We've been streaming, like 4 times in 24 hours, and we are so glad to be here with you today. Check it out.
Brilliant.
Wow, I'm never ever going to get tired of that. How about you, man? How you doing today?
Good, man. It's Jordan and I missed the bus by about 5 seconds this morning, so we got to share a little drive to school. Luckily, it's very close, so been up and on the road already, but we're good, ready to go.
Well, good for you, man. I did not have such an early morning. I don't have any kids to get out to school, though it is October, which means it's pumpkin fairy season. Have I told you about the pumpkin fairy?
You know what? I honestly want to say maybe you did last year, but I don't remember. Maybe I need
That's
to refresh
okay. I'll refresh you. So the pumpkin fairy is a mythical creature who comes to visit our nephew every day before Halloween, during Halloween month, and just leaves him a little gift or a little trinket, or the first day of the month is always like some pumpkins that he can carve into jack-o'-lanterns. And he's young enough that the holiday is still very magical for him. And he's old enough that our time to do this is precious. Kimberly came up with the idea and, has invited me to share in it and participate in it. And we have a gift today that's going to him that's like a little skeleton softie that's going to clip on his backpack, and like a little Reese's egg to go with it. And so we always have a little poem. And so this is the one I'm composing now. I found a little buddy. He's got a little snack. They're both a little nutty. You can clip him to your pack. So that's the excitement of our morning. And today we did not do it before he went to school. He never knows if it's going to be before school or after school. And it usually depends on whether or not, we have the time and energy and effort to get to him before school or after school. And it's a lot of fun. So living vicariously through somebody else's kid.
Hey, you know what? That works. I just so over here on TikTok, someone asked if we are brothers or cousins, and I said, of course, we are the same person written in different fonts, which is my favorite new answer. I cannot take credit for that absolute gem, though. That was another one of our illustrious community members yesterday.
Right, we get great comments like that. We've got Keith who's doing the jingle. I saw Devil King's messages today in general chat that maybe we're going to get like an upgraded soundboard or something like that. I don't know. He sounds like he's got like a plan for us to, he said, give me some quotes. And I said, some quotes. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but stay tuned.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I've been talking to two custom kind of PC builder companies, right? Because I maintain that one of those, especially the smaller businesses, because we're a small business, they're a small business, we're on TikTok, they want to be on TikTok. Partner with the show, partner with the channel, get us some upgraded hardware. You're going to see it sitting right here. Well, sorry, TikTok, right here on my desk. During every single stream, you see that beautiful, gorgeous machine, and I'll have so many opportunities to say what it is and thank you for the support. And boom, what are you getting? You're getting prime placement on the best Web3 show on the internet.
The most trusted live education on TikTok.
For the price of 2 machines. And then the stream setup, from our side, would just be infinitely better.
You provide 2 machines, you get 2 absolute units, the same guy in different font, and I think that's a bargain. If you're just joining us for the first time today, we're here every day, Monday through Thursday, and also Wednesday nights for helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions. This is the place you come when your favorite influencer told you about a project or token, but didn't tell you that you got to connect your bank and you got to do this, and how do you
didn't teach you anything about it.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's like the mechanic you go to after you buy a clunker on the used car lot that you never should have bought, that everyone told you to get rid of. And we can't do much for you, but we can all laugh about it and walk away smarter next time. So if you've got a crypto question, feel free to leave it in the comments, request to come up, and definitely you want to join the Discord server, because that's where the show lives 24/7, even when we're not here. You can ask us a question there. It's totally free to join at discord.gg/riseup. We got a question from Nick, who wants to know, Do you think people will tattoo their QR code address to their body for ease of use? To which I respond, Nick's been on a tear lately with really interesting questions. What was the one he asked yesterday about, do you think one day AI will sample our blood and pick the right person for us to marry? Was that the question?
Yeah, and it reminded me of, I think it's called The One. I'd have to ask Christina. But just a book. I don't think it was quite exactly the same idea, but the premise was essentially, yeah, you could submit a DNA sample and it would tell you, it would find your perfect, match around the world and set you up. And of course, there's a big conspiracy. It's an interesting book.
Oh my gosh, I know about that book because
no, you
Christina
don't.
Christina did read it, and do you know how I knew Christina read it? Is she made a TikTok about it, and I'm pretty sure Kim saw the TikTok and Kim read the book, and she told me all about it. And she said, "This is why you need to have people like me giving you information about the kind of technology you guys should be building, because you don't need to do this." And I was like, "Oh, okay, baby." It sounded like a wild book, and the one I was going to recommend to him was a movie, and it was called Timers, which is the same kind of different spin. Everybody's got to watch that. Apple or some future conglomerate will sell you that starts to count down when it identifies the signal of your mate, your meant to be person. And it might be counting down 5 seconds. It might be counting down 50 years. It might never come on. You might never, know it. And it's a world of people who have timers and people who don't. A guy meets a girl. She's got a timer. He doesn't have one. And he's like, that thing is so dumb. How do you know that I'm not the one for, and they have a love affair and it ends. And some people are happy and some people aren't. But the QR code, what do you think? Are we going to get public address QR codes tattooed on our bodies?
Absolutely not. I think that so many people would not opt to get inked before they would opt to get a tiny NFC tag implanted in their hand or something. I think chip implant is way more likely than QR tattoo.
Khalil says we have echo. Hang on a second. Tell me if that's better. Test check 1, 2. Give me some ABCs, Alex.
ABC, echo, maybe. Hope not.
Okay, I hope not too. I did mess with some settings to get Angel on, but I haven't touched anything else, Alex. I'm telling you, man. Listen, I'm also a fan of the chip. Not a fan of the chip necessarily. I just think that it'll be more convenient. People will embrace it. It's like Neuralink, one step closer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, the other thing that I try to remember is just that it might sound crazy, but people literally thought the idea of a washing machine was insane. So give it 20 years and see how we think then.
This is true. Khalil, I'm so sorry about the echo. Everybody, I'm not seeing it from anybody else, and I don't know. I wonder, do you have the volume up double? Do you have us in 2 places at once?
I don't know.
Let us know, and we'll keep trying to tweak it here. The other setting that I had used before, let me know if this totally takes my voice away. Test check 1, 2, 1, 2, and I bet it takes Alex away too.
Maybe. Does it? Am I quiet now? Am I muted?
I wonder. Whoever responds first gets a prize.
I think
no echo. You're good here. Huh?
I think unfortunately Khalil might just have a little issue going on. I think everyone else is good.
Okay.
So Khalil, maybe turn it off and turn it back on again.
Turn it off, turn it back on again. Everybody's good. Thank you. Sorry for the disruption. I'm sorry, Khalil. The other thing you could do, Khalil, is you can try to jump over to Faceless Labs on YouTube. Faceless Labs, all one word. We're streaming live there too, and we're in widescreen. I'm looking at you right now on YouTube and on Alex's Twitter. So you got a lot of options to tune into the Rise Up Morning Show. You can tell your friends who don't have TikTok, who don't want to get TikTok because, whatever reason, that they can catch up with us wherever they like to get their news. Coming soon to Facebook and LinkedIn also. Alex, we got another question. Yep. This is from our friend Sonoran. I heard Will talk about AXL a couple weeks ago. No one talks about it.
No, they don't.
And I wanted to hear more about your thoughts. What is AXL? Is that Axelar?
Yes.
You guys did. We did that on the Rise Up After Dark, and I think it was an episode that I wasn't there. Is that correct?
It was the episode with Will, Michael, and I, and it was one of the requests. Axelar. I had never heard of it. I still have not done like a super deep dive there, but I will say that if you want to see kind of that full breakdown, it is on YouTube. We can link the full episode into the Discord if you want to see it, or if you're watching it here on YouTube. I don't know, it's over there somewhere. I don't remember where to point.
Yeah, it's gonna be over here. It's gonna be in a playlist called Rise Up After Dark.
That's it.
And I think you guys gave it like an A-, right?
Yeah. And actually, I can grab the timestamp as well. I shared the timestamp in Discord because someone was curious. But yeah, it was just like an interesting looking thing. But you know what my theory about it was that it looked like a really neat tool, and we actually kind of launched into a little bit of a discussion about acquisitions and how M&A, mergers and acquisitions, in the traditional business world are very commonplace. It's a massive, massive piece of many industries every single year, but you don't really hear too much about it in crypto. And I was thinking when I looked at this, I was like, Axelar looks like a really interesting tool. I don't know about it standing completely on its own, but I feel like it's a prime target for a number of different things to potentially acquire someday. And, that could be interesting.
That's very interesting. Nick says it's an interoperability play for the base ecosystem.
Yeah, and
I
actually,
will have to look into
Michael's analysis of it was, this looks interesting. We actually actively need a service like this for his game studio, and he was gonna, take a little peek and see if Axelar might potentially be something. I haven't followed up with him about that to see if that was indeed something that they were gonna look into using or anything like that. But I know that was his gut reaction was like, hey, it might actually be able to do something with this.
Well, let me tell you, cross-chain is the future. Interoperability is the future, and there are a lot of people trying to solve this problem right now. I'm thinking, obviously Chainlink does the most to connect people lots of places, but I'm thinking places like Chain Swap is one I hear a lot of people talk about that I feel like I'm waiting to see more proof, and they're putting Axelar, as I'm looking at it now, looks really interesting. Looks like they've got an API that they're working on. Sonoran mentioned another one the other day in context of Chainlink that was API 3. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of what was the one that you loved from like 4 years ago? You were like the only person, Covalent, was it? That gives you all your key ring essentially and makes it so much easier to go anywhere you want on the blockchain.
Yeah, again, not and I have said this also from the beginning. Really, really, really cool project. Probably not a good investment.
Yeah.
That's always how I've described it, because I want to make it abundantly clear, like, hey, this is risky, but this is a really neat project. I'm really sorry, Covalent. I don't think it necessarily needs a cryptocurrency. I just think it's a really cool tool, which is why I say it's probably not the world's greatest investment. And honestly, I couldn't tell you what the price is. I still have it to this day. I have some. But yeah, Tori on YouTube says the sound is much crispier over here. I think it's just because TikTok probably nerfs a little bit of our audio, but I'm not positive.
That's good to know. If I turn us up at all, I can turn us up and make us like louder coming from here to there to the phone.
Could be.
I don't know. We can play around. We can continue to play around with it and tweak it. And your feedback
we'll
is
find
super
the
welcome.
perfect setup. Yeah, honestly, thank you, Tori, for that. And anyone who's watching on any of these things, this multi-stream is extremely new. So please don't. There is no such thing as bad feedback. If you have any notes, good or bad, letting us know will only improve the quality of everything. So we appreciate it. Angie says she sold her Covalent for me money. Honestly, probably way better return potential. The thing about Covalent that was really cool was, kind of like Evan alluded to, it was just like an API unifier. So for those who aren't familiar with the term, an API is just sort of like a way that you can get information when you're doing data things. And if there's an engineer in either of the chats, help me out. But essentially, Covalent's whole idea was, hey, perhaps instead of needing to connect to 20 million APIs, you can take all the ones that you need and consolidate them into this thing. Basically, like put all of your, think of an API like a key to unlock something. I've also heard the analogy. It's kind of like, you sitting at the table and your waiter brings you the food from the kitchen. In this analogy, the waiter is the API bringing you the food, aka the data, the information. And it just sort of like did it all at once. And I just thought that was kind of neat because it's a service that I hadn't seen anyone else addressing before. But again, as I say, probably not a great investment. I don't really think it needs a cryptocurrency. At least certainly not one that people would be needing to stack, like gajillions of dollars worth, but really interesting project.
Sure. Okay. So we got a couple other questions coming in too that I wanted to, first, a comment. Rusenlier says, I want to apologize to anybody who holds Arrow. I bought some. That is a guarantee of a price drop. So to you, Rusenlier, I say, but also thank you for the sell signal. We really appreciate it. Welcome to the Arrow Club.
I would also like to apologize because I don't own any. And if we did, I would sell some to counteract that buy. Because if I sell it, it will also moon. But I don't own any. I know.
We need the reverse Watson indicator. Can Will just come on here and tell us that it is going to just fall to crater? Oh my gosh, absolutely. So some of the questions I had on the way are, may I ask, Keiko says, what you think about Raoul Paul?
Raoul Paul.
What do you think about him?
I would be lying if I said I paid any attention to what that dude says.
Alex, I have a confession to make. I recognize that name, but I'm not sure I know who Raoul Paul is.
Yeah, I know.
Do I need to know who he is? Am I supposed to know who he is?
I would say you should be at least vaguely familiar with the idea of who Raoul Paul is.
Am I saying it wrong? Is it Raoul and not Raoul?
I've heard it Raoul Paul.
Oh, this guy. Okay. Never mind.
You know who it is.
Yeah. Totally. He's like a different flavor of BitBoy Crypto, or like Rand Neuner.
Yeah, prominent figure, shall we say?
Yeah. He's a price prediction guy.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. The headlines seem about right. How do I feel about him? I feel like the headlines, if you Google him, get him about right. If you read them through like irony glasses. The journey of Raoul Paul from traditional finance to crypto visionary. 73,000 likely by November. Honestly, I don't know. I don't consume his content because I don't find this kind of content terribly helpful. I would be curious to know if you find it helpful, but
I mean, I don't, because I don't have, there's nothing that someone who makes price predictions can teach me that I care to know.
You know, Alex, you can learn a lot from a fool if you listen. I feel like we could learn a lot from this guy, but it might just drive us to
I hear plenty of fools. I do TikTok for a living. I hear fools every day.
Yeah. Raoul Paul, based in the Cayman Islands.
I mean, I would be, like I said, I'd be lying if I said I was really familiar. I would not do him the discourtesy of calling him a fool or anything. I just,
no.
That particular kind of content does not do anything for me. As my grandma would say, it's nothing to write home about. So I don't have time or bandwidth to pay attention.
Yeah, and I would love to know more. If you've learned from him, if there's something helpful you've learned from him, let us know. And if you think we should sit down and have dinner with him, I'm sure we would have a great time doing it.
I would. In a heartbeat.
We're not here to like you. This is just, we want to protect the platform. We're always really careful about who is and who isn't your teacher. And usually people who are telling you where the price is going, that's not it.
Yeah. I mean, we could do it. Evan and we could do it right now. Hey, Evan.
Hey, Alex.
$20 million Bitcoin in the next 5 years.
You ready for this? I disagree. I think it's going to 30. You should buy right now. The only dumb thing you can do that's dumber than not buying Bitcoin is buying too little Bitcoin.
Hold on. I'm going to go sell my house and over leverage and move into my car. It's just like, it takes nothing to just sit here and lie to people about like what, because do we have any idea? No, we have no clue.
No. And honestly, it's just not or I'll defer to you.
And that's just bullshit. Amen. Not ideal. What did I write down the other? Oh, of course I'm using my phone, but I can pull it up here because I'm an interoperability genius. The greatest interoperability tool, Google. It's gonna hook me up. So I had just a random thought yesterday, and I just wrote down. I'm gonna toot mine and Evan's horn here for just a minute. One of the things that I say that sets us apart is that we are like, I'm not only willing to, I actually enjoy telling people that I don't know things because it's an opportunity to have a new conversation and talk about something and learn something new.
Yeah.
And I maintain that my best teachers that I've ever had in my life are just the ones who admit when they don't know something. So all I wrote down was, why is it the fact that I don't know something? Or I'm sorry, it's early. I wrote this down. Actually, I remember struggling while I wrote this sentence. I was like, I'm going to read this back later and I'm going to be so confused because I was like on a walk had the thought and was like trying to write it down while not tripping. I said, why is it that the fact that I don't know a lot more than I do know makes me a better teacher? And I just said, because I'm going to admit when I don't know something. And I have no clue what the price of a single crypto on Earth is ever going to do at any point between now and forever. So there you go.
That was profound.
There's my price prediction on everything.
I think I should give you this instead. It was very like you've entered your Dalai Lama era.
Yes.
I have no idea. And I would agree with you, Alex. I would absolutely agree with you. I think, honestly, my hot take is this. I think Raoul Pal, Ran Neuner, BitBoy Crypto, I think they're really cautionary tales for me personally. Thank you, Cosmic. They're cautionary tales for me personally because what they stand out as to me are charismatic hypesters. They're broadcasters. I would not go so far as to use a word like journalist, though many outlets might. I would say they're broadcasters. And let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a deal, I've got one for you. Heading to the top of the pops, smash gold kind of thing. You know what I mean? They've got a microphone. They know how to use it. They've got a soundboard. Jim Cramer, buy, sell, sell, sell. Of course, I love that. I think it's so fun. I play one every day on TV. But it is not because these people are crypto visionaries that they have their platforms. It is because they are great entertainers. And crypto as an industry is so new. I mean, and when I say great entertainers, Raoul Pal is not Danny Kaye. BitBoy is not, Anderson Cooper. But we don't have a deep pool yet. Like the pool of talent that is here all over the place is not the best. I would say maybe the closest we have is the development talent. The best developers I knew 3 and 4 years ago were leaving their jobs to go build in blockchain. The best actors and broadcasters and journalists I know are not talking about this yet. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come here and talk about this to you, because I was like, oh, we talked about that before. Like if these guys are talking about it, we can do it. We really need to do it, especially for the ethical reasons. But there's a lot of opportunity here. You could be the next BitBoy Crypto. Alex, you could be the next Wendy O, the next Ran Neuner, the next Anthony Scaramucci. I don't know. You name it.
Well, the Mooch has got a lot of money, so maybe that.
Cosmic says, I would not want to be the next BitBoy Crypto. Can I ask you guys a question? Absolutely, you can ask us a question. 100%. That's what we're here for. If you've got a crypto question, let us know in the comments. Eamon, everybody just joining, how are you? It's good to see you. If you're one of our friends from the community and we've gotten to know each other a little bit and you would rather just ask a question, you can feel free to tap that little guest button on TikTok. I'm sorry, we don't have a call-in feature yet for our friends on YouTube. We're working on it. And if you don't know us, we don't know you. You're here for the first time. We're here Monday through Thursday. If you want to ask a question, go ahead, type us a comment. Let's get to know each other a little better before we bring you up on the air, just because we want to protect the audience. Everyone on YouTube is like, what the hell is he pointing at? This is the link to join our free Discord server if you're on TikTok, and if you're on YouTube, this is your link. Join us at discord.gg/riseup. We'd love to answer your questions there, just get to know you better.
So Evan.
Yes.
Okay, so we do have the question coming in. I have a MERT thread that I wanted to discuss with you, but let's hit
I've got a pin in it. I will remind you.
Okay. All right. So the question is, what do you think is going on with Trump and his family and their crypto endeavors? Okay. Thank you, Khalil. Khalil says that I am the next Alex Popovich, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Just wanted to give you that.
My honest, genuine thoughts about World Liberty Finance or World Liberty Financial, whatever it's called, is that it's the Trump family's next business venture. And that is exactly as deep as it goes. And it will work out as long as it works out. And I hope for the investor's sake that it succeeds. I truly do. I'm unsure why the platform of choice to emulate was Doe Finance. I think there was a lot of better options, and that one's a little bit of a mystery to me. But I'm not the blockchain advisor or whatever the high school kid advising them is titled. And it's only available for for accredited investors. So that's the thing. I don't know.
You got to have like ready to drop in thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Even if you are accredited.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of faith, but I'm truly rooting for it to succeed, because why would I root for its downfall? That seems.
Yeah, and to give more context to that, because I think we feel the same about this, I heard somebody who's an advisor for the project who is not a Trump supporter. He's kind of, politically opposed to the president, say that he chose to advise the project because, as a security person, he realized that because Trump's name is attached to this, many people are going to take DeFi seriously for the very first time, and might be spending more money than they can afford to lose because they trust the former president. And therefore, people who care about crypto and making it a welcoming, friendly space need to do as much as we can anytime there's something like that to make it a welcoming, friendly space. It's already been the target of like 2 or 3 different hacks the team has. And I have heard on that Twitter space where almost nothing of substance was said. I don't know why they got Farouk to do it. Another example of a broadcaster, not an educator,
It's, you just pick a guy with a giant platform. You don't necessarily pick a guy who you think is going to do a great job conveying,
Well, and they don't know because they're not crypto natives. They're not here.
Nope.
And that was the thing the guy said. He said, Trump's partner, whose name eludes me, we saw this as a good business opportunity because DeFi is going to but it's also good for us. It's good. Yep. It's going to be necessary for the people. The service is good for us. That's what I think about it too.
All I would say to that is just that we have a double standard that reinforces our bias in everything that we do. It's natural. And if it was anyone other than him, 85% of the people who are a fan of this DeFi project would not be a fan of it, because most of those people are the ones who relentlessly bag on celebrities launching memes. To be very honest with you, I don't see a whole lot of difference. It's a thing that is attached to a very centralized and polarizing figure. The success of it hinges probably largely on that individual's ability to keep it up. And all I know is that I saw that space. I saw the announcement. I've heard nothing else since. And since then, I've seen the launch of a very expensive watch collection and also a commemorative silver dollar collection. So we're just selling all. It's just QVC. We're QVC, and the DeFi project is now one of the things that's cycling through the Rolodex of ideas, I guess.
Thank you for the question. It's a good thing to talk about. We'll keep you updated on it as the platform develops and it launches. Yes. I want to, before we go to this Mert thread, we do have 1 or 2 other rapid fire questions I think we could tackle that are good ones.
I will say, sorry, Evan.
Please
I will say, just based on one more comment that came through.
Yeah.
I will say that I would be absolutely gobsmacked if it rugged. I think there's almost no chance of that happening. It may fail. It may it may be an absolute catastrophe. But that's a semantic thing. It's a term thing. Rug pull is a very specific action, and there is almost no chance that happens.
Yeah, I agree.
It may fail horribly, but it will not be a rug.
So rapid fire these questions. We have Broken Root as a former reference librarian and wants to know the building blocks 1, 2, 3 because she's scared of crypto. I'm sorry. I think Broken Root we've talked before, and I thought you said you were a she. If you're not, my apologies. They're scared of crypto, but Robert Krook is changing their mind. And I asked what specifically was making them scared of crypto, and I didn't see an answer back. But maybe we don't want to give the whole 1, 2, 3 ABC. What I would tell you is if you want to learn this, we can give you some tips on resources to learn. We definitely can help you learn it. I suggest you join the Discord server. Right now, we've got a free course. We do live courses too, where we sit down and go through a topic in detail, seminar style, question and answer. It's limited to 15 people so that we can give everybody like time and attention. And right now, the free course you can register for is this Sunday, 2 p.m. Central, Web3 101. Sign up. Totally free in about 2 minutes there in my last post and announcements. If the class is full or you can't make it that day, you can buy a recording for as low as $6. So definitely do that. Web3 101 is going to give you the what is blockchain, why does it matter, how to start using it safely, securely, buy, sell crypto, turn it back into cash. Basic building blocks, starting with a foundational understanding of why you might want to. Because Alex, another question we just got is, I need to buy crypto. How do I do it? And I responded, why do you need to buy it? So that's my answer for that. If you want to give a resource or two, or you do want to give an ABC real quick, I'm glad to defer to you because that's such an important question. But what do you think?
ABC to which of those?
To what are the basic building blocks
Oh,
of crypto? And I said, come to the class instead because the building blocks, honestly, they take some dedicated focus and time. But maybe you can give a tidbit or a trick.
It's a good challenge though.
Question. Okay, challenge accepted. He said.
Yeah.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Alex is about to drop you some knowledge.
Yeah, well, don't gas me up too hard because I'm gonna make this up off the top of my head. No, it can be a challenge to I do believe that the mark of a good educator is the ability to break down complex topics so that people can understand and learn them. But as Richard Dawkins will tell you, some things are just too complicated and they are not meant to be broken down. I do believe that some pieces of the Web3 ecosystem align with that. I saw an amazing thread on Twitter the other day where someone said basically just the basic gist was it was one of the personalities, the broadcasters that Evan's talking about, who just said they're not an engineer. That was the main crux of this. Said, I don't get ZK whatever, something over this other technology. And if you can't explain it to me in one sentence with no jargon, then it's doomed to fail. And there was just an answer written to him by obviously a software engineer who just said, it's impossible to explain that to you with no technical jargon in one sentence. It is an inherently complicated thing. I would go out on a branch and say that you have absolutely no business trying to understand it in one simple sentence with no jargon. This is a thing that engineers use to build specific tools. You do not need to understand it. If you would like to learn about it, you need to learn this first, then this, then this, then this, then this, and then you can maybe understand this, because I simply just cannot break it down any farther for you. And I just thought that was a fantastic answer. However, when we're talking about the basic building blocks, the whys, the what are we doing here's, you can absolutely simplify that. And I would say that there's a few unifying themes of this industry that probably bring most of the people here. One, just get it out of the way, because it would not be
silly.
It would be silly. It would be disingenuous to discount this. The investments that you can make in the crypto space are more volatile, which means that as well as more increased downside risk, there is more upside potential. And so there is the chance that a smaller investment can turn into a very large payout. And that attracts, I would say, probably most people who come here. Just the idea of getting rich quick. Of course, it's a trap. It's a trap. It doesn't always work.
I need that sound.
We do need that sound. Actually, it's insane that is not on our soundboard already.
All right. I'm making a note as we speak.
Considering that we are in crypto and most of it is a trap. But in addition to that, there's really interesting technology. And if you're a fan of new technological advancements, that's probably interesting to you, because there's some really cool stuff. I think NFTs are fascinating. That's one of the things I love learning about, because I think the potential is insane. I don't fully understand all of it myself, but that's kind of one of my favorite pieces. Another one would be the idea and the theme of decentralization, the idea that we don't want everything to always be completely reliant on a central point of failure. We would like to spread out responsibility across lots of different people, let more people participate. And that's kind of cool. It's the idea that we can build a more, I'm going to make up a word, but I think you'll know what I mean. Meritocratic. Is that a word?
It is a word.
Is it? God damn. Yeah. All right.
It's definitely a word since you put it in your mouth, but it's also a word other people's mouths have used and recognized as a common meaning word. Yeah. A
more egalitarian / meritocratic system, which is just more enjoyable and more fulfilling to participate in. That idea brings a lot of people to the Web3 world. And then personally, I just like the idea of owning more of my stuff. And a lot of my stuff in this day and age is digital. And there's not a great vehicle for me to own digital stuff without Web3 tools. I enjoy that part of it. That was not a one sentence answer, but it's about
but it was brief. That was actually quite brief, I would say. So if you have additional questions there, Barb, let us, or Broken Root, I say Barb. I'm seeing like 3 or 4 people. Let us know here, because we want to make sure we address that well. I saw you had a question about how to join the Discord. I've got a video in my profile. I realize it is not the pinned video. It's like 6 or 7 down. I will make it a pinned video after this live. So you can go right to the top of my profile and see step by step how to join a Discord server or how to join our Discord server. Totally free to get in there. That's the best way to connect with us and continue to ask questions, learn, grow, those kind of things. We would love to see you there. It's an awesome community with learners at all levels of experience. All that's missing is you. Someone said, that's why I think crypto ETFs are going to catch on, not the online DeFi projects. And they were referring to what you said just about everyday people kind of understanding this stuff, wanting access to the money in ways they already know how to get it.
I think, though, it's worth noting that we all probably have like a really, I don't know, I don't want to say unhelpful, but maybe it's unhelpful opinion of what success looks like for cryptocurrency. Because I would say that, you know, getting 3 billion people using Uniswap does not the only thing that's going to make you. I would say Uniswap is very successful now. So,
yeah, I would agree.
You know, might traditional investment vehicles like an ETP through Schwab or Fidelity or, you know, whoever your institution of choice is, might that get more customers than Uniswap eventually? Maybe. Will that mean Uniswap will have failed? Absolutely not. I think it's silly that in crypto we expect everything to just get a multi-billion-dollar market cap. That's insane. There are plenty of companies that launch and work for their entire lives very successfully to make lots of people happy, to have a rich and bustling team with a company that by all metrics succeeds and makes their customers or clients' lives better and never achieves multi-billion-dollar status. So it's insane to me that we think that crypto projects are different and that everything, regardless of what they do and what they purport to do, just needs to get to a multi-billion-dollar market cap to be successful. That boggles my mind.
I agree. You know what else boggles my mind?
Hey, man.
I chose that sound because, hey, man, Nick, for everyone on YouTube, I don't know what Nick you are doing in the morning to get on the wavelength you're on, but I have to read this comment that says, you guys think we will eventually look more like the Greys due to society enhancing our bodies with tech, being more secluded to the indoors? I just picture skin grafts on people. I'm just trying to keep my body going for as long as possible. Nick, what are you doing to get on that side of your brain
this
Nick, what's
early
in your
in the
coffee?
morning?
What's in your coffee, Nick? And how do I get a little bit of that? I'm not sure.
Oh, I got to tell you,
tell me.
Evan, I got a sample pack from, so I met an individual at Consensus. Long story short, I met an
Sounds like it's about to be a really interesting story.
I met a guy at Consensus, really nice guy. His name is Eric. He used to work for Chainlink. He's actually one of the original members of Chainlink. And you know how he got his job there?
How?
He was just helpful in Discord. That's it.
I thought you were going to say he took a sample pack at a conference and wound up somewhere else. And then the guy who's next to him on a flying carpet was like, hey, man.
No, he was just helpful in Discord, and Chainlink hired him, and he was one of the first. There were not very many people there. This was a long time ago, beginning of Chainlink. And anyway, a friend of his owns a company. I'll withhold the name of everything right now, just because I have not really gotten into it, haven't made an assessment, and don't want to endorse before or anything like that. But I got a sample pack because they are allegedly potentially interested in promotion, sponsorship, placement, marketing, all that good stuff. So I'm excited. I'll keep you posted.
Heck yeah.
But that's what it is. It's like a, you know, something different that you can drink besides, you know, energy drinks and all of the things that are, you know, theoretically terrible for you, or if you're trying to cut back on the coffee and you want to like add something else. So that's kind of the gist. It's like a supplement thing. And I've not really been a huge supplement person, but I'll admit I don't really know that much about it. I probably should be. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. So that's something in the works.
Another quick comment to highlight that is super beautiful. And I need, while I ask this, to know for everybody who's watching on TikTok, sorry, YouTube, sorry, Twitter, if you can see this notice board behind me when I do this little stroke right here, can you see this text right here? Alex, I know you can see it. I can see it. I'm just curious if the font is too small. You know, this is if we have a notice for you, if I have a link, I'm going to reference it in your plane of view like this. YouTube, Twitter, if I have a link, I'm going to reference it for you like that. But Discord, website.
Sweet.
They live right
Thanks,
here.
guys.
If you can't see that, let me know. I wanted to highlight this definition from Jay, because I do think for people who struggle to understand this, who are level 1 learners who are in already, this is helpful. ZK rollups. What is it? A zero knowledge proof, rolled up together. He says they speed up blockchains by securely combining many transactions into a single batch. And this is just, I'm highlighting it because it touched the last rapid fire question I want to handle before we roll back to Mert, is layer 2s, other infrastructure, layer 3s. We're scaling blockchains. We're trying to do it. And we had a conversation maybe 2 weeks ago about whether or not these scaling projects are being built in such a way that they are cannibalizing the networks they're built on top of. You know the story, Alex. A new layer 2 network is in town. They might have an airdrop. They might launch a token. They attract billions of dollars in liquidity because they've got to be a success financially in that regard. And everybody starts doing their transactions on those. And because the layer 1, in this case, Ethereum, isn't scaling in the same direction or isn't scaling as fast, they end up extracting a lot of value, people say. And there are some folks on one hand who say, no, all this stuff is good for the layer 1.
Mm-hmm.
Any piece of infrastructure makes everything more usable. And then there are others who say, well, if it's too extractive, then all the value is going to be lost from the main network, and then no one's going to pay attention to it. No one's going to want to help validate it or build there or live there. It's like a big city when a bunch of people move in and start littering, or they build a highway through the park, that kind of thing. All of a sudden, the people who loved the neighborhood don't feel welcome there, and everybody else is just trying to get to the next place as fast as possible and throwing their cigarettes out the window. So, do you have any thoughts about that? Are layer 2s extractive to layer 1? Is the technology we're building on top, are we being thoughtful enough about it? The precise wording of the question was, do ETH layer 2s face the same final destination as ETH? Will their value go down? And that's why I introduced it that way, is because I don't necessarily think that's the final destination for ETH or any of them. But, I'd love your thoughts on, where it's going, how to build it more mindfully.
I think that's a really important question, and it's not one that I feel like I have the answer to, because of course, on one hand, you could easily make the argument that ETH failing means all layer 2s on ETH will fail as well, because if ETH fails, you don't need layer 2s on it. However, one could also make the argument that while they do they do undoubtedly extract at least something, that's not necessarily inherently bad if Ethereum is still the underpinning base layer that gives gives security. That's the layer 1's job. In the layer pyramid of 1, 2, 3, layer 1 is supposed to be the thing that provides stability and security. Layer 2 is supposed to scale. I'm reducing it. Layer 3 is the application layer with all of the stuff that you do on the layer 1 and the layer 2, or on the layer 1 via the layer 2. So I don't know. It's tough. I mean, some extraction is necessary to scale. You've got to. I love it when my hat.
Yeah, sorry. That was the closest sound I had to a cowboy.
When my hat gets a hat and my mustache gets a mustache, it's a good day. On YouTube, I'm so sorry that you don't get to see that.
We just got a little cowboy hat. Everyone on YouTube just saw me go like this, and they're like, what the hell is Evan doing? Sorry, Alex. So, we're scaling thoughtfully with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a shitty way you can do it. There's a good way you can do it. You can be mindful about it, or you can be a dick about it. It's one of those things. Like, I'm trying to think of an analogy off the top of my head or another comparison, but it's sort of, as with all things, you can go about it in a good way, you can go about it in a bad way. But generally, I do believe that layer 2s enhance Ethereum because it's cost prohibitive to new people. I would never recommend to a new person without layer 2 access to come and experiment and learn by paying a shitload of money for gas, when you could learn the basic fundamentals on a different blockchain. So yeah, I think the layer 2s help overall.
I agree. Okay, so let me segue you back and ask you to tell me about this Mert thread. Yes. For people who don't know, who is Mert and why are we sewing with him?
Who is Mert? Mert is the CEO and founder of Faceless Labs, which is a staking service provider, and they do other stuff. I'm reducing them significantly. Faceless Labs on Solana. And Mert is notorious on Twitter because he combines his passion of shit posting with genuinely insightful and much needed context and bullshit analysis to other posts. And so oftentimes, I mean, if you see a Mert thread, it's one of two things. It's a shit post or it's a lengthy thread where he just, listen, this is wrong. Here's, you know, and I think it's a very effective communication style. He crushes it. I tried to meet him in Texas at Consensus, but he was swamped, and I could not get time. However, the thread that caught my eye was him responding to Edward Snowden's Token 2049 speech or presentation. Where here's it's short. I'll read the tweet that kicked it off. Snowden seems to think that Solana is centralized while giving zero data to back it up. I challenge anyone to show me the precise attack vector that would let a single entity exercise a loss of funds or prolonged power over the network. Show me, with real data, how you will subdue thousands of full nodes in several hundred geographically distributed locations spread over different jurisdictions, countries, and governments in the world. If you can't do this and you call Solana centralized, you're full of it. And the reason that I saved this and wanted to go over it was just because of the next tweet in the thread, actually. Because one thing I'll also say about Mert, the reason honestly that I continue to read the things he says is just because he doesn't hold back from admitting the bad. You know, if there is a con, he will label it. When Solana was facing the network congestion stuff, I forget what month that was now. But where, lots of transactions were failing, there was a lot of congestion, things was really slow. He posted and pinned on his profile, like, hey, Solana sucks right now. You can roast me. And he welcomed all of it. And he was posting regularly about what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. He's also a core developer. He works on Solana quite a bit. And then when it was fixed, he said, okay, I fixed it. Shut the hell up. And it was just, I just enjoyed it. So here's the next follow-up to the opening tweet there. He said, here's what you can say instead. Ethereum and Bitcoin are more decentralized than Solana. That is objectively correct. Usain Bolt is also faster than LeBron James in a 100-meter dash, but you'd be crazy to say that LeBron is slow.
Yeah.
The only possible single point of failure would be a single client with he called it Frankendancer, now live on mainnet. That is also now incorrect. That's not mentioning Full Fire Dancer and other clients coming to the network. If the network is so centralized, it's worth tens of billions. Go attack it.
Whoa.
So I just, and then of course he invited Edward Snowden to a debate, and he said, you can pick the time, the place, and the moderator. And then the last thing was somebody who just said, I've recently become a Solana convert, but I put a lot of faith into what Edward Snowden says, and he is single-handedly forcing me to reevaluate my entire position. So is there something that I, a former ETH solo staker, can do to make Solana less centralized? And Mercha says, start your own validator. So I just figured we could toss that out there. I'm curious to see if people have thoughts. I loved everything about that because it captures all of the things that I think are important to say when we're talking about this industry. There are problems. It's probably not as bad as people say. We tend to talk about this in an unhelpful way exclusively to get attention. And here's what you can do to make it better instead of just complaining.
Yeah, very actionable and also enjoyable.
I just loved it.
My thought is, so first of all, thank you for sharing. It was excellent. If you're not following Mert, what's his handle on Twitter? So people can follow him.
0xMERT, 0x Mert with an underscore at the end.
0xMert underscore. And if you want to see him, hear him speak, they do have a Token 2049 YouTube channel. And I'm pretty sure he gave a talk there, didn't he?
Yes.
I just can't recall what it was.
Everywhere. He's
everywhere. And if you just search him, Mert Helios, it'll probably come up in YouTube. It'll probably come up, maybe not on TikTok, but he's definitely like a Vitalik or like a Charles Hoskinson, like a Satoshi Nakamoto, in the sense that he is in the A team of players, people who are impacting the crypto space right now, that if you're interested in current events, if you're interested in thought leadership, you should look to as a primary source whose voice you should consider in the dialogue. Don't make him your God. Don't take everything he says as gospel. But like Alex said, a lot of his takes are objective as he can be. I appreciate that about him too. And I definitely think that
to be clear, he says dumb shit too.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's had plenty of tweets where I'm like, dude, why did you write that? You know,
I don't know
when we're
enough
talking
about
Solana and his analysis of it as a project, I just find it to be probably one of the more helpful voices talking about Solana. If you're interested in that. Yeah, and you can use, sorry, Evan, I keep interrupting.
No, it's okay.
You can use it as a model to help determine how we should be talking about other networks. Not to say that, like, you know, we are all Solana maxis here, just that you can take his methodology for describing Solana, the way that he talks about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and pull from that, you know, his basic, you know, methods for discussing blockchain projects, apply that to other things, and that's the standard that you should be holding, you know, people who speak about these things to. You know, sure, laud the good, but admit the bad.
And I would say too, if you're interested in getting your own validator, I don't remember exactly what the requirements are on Sol, but I believe that they're lighter than the requirements on ETH. Do you happen to have that pulled up, or can you look it up? Because they have a website that says, like, here's how you can start a validator, here are the hardware requirements, or maybe we can throw it in the Discord later. I think one of the best things you can do if you're a citizen of the blockchain, generally, you care about the network, you want to do something good, is to validate a network that you use. There are lots of benefits for you personally. You might be able to receive fees, but it also makes the network more secure, more decentralized. It just makes it better, stronger. It's a good citizen thing to do. It's like going out and picking up litter. If you can do it, you should. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody has to, but the people who do, we really appreciate them. And if you're just a selfish person and you want to know what's in it for me, the fees are good on a growing network, and you get increased privacy and access. You don't have to wait for somebody else to submit your transactions to the blockchain. You don't have to send them somewhere else. You are connected to the chain as much as you can be.
So I'll fact check this because this is from ChatGPT. So I'm not positive, but it's the quickest way I can get an answer, and I'll look into it to make sure this is correct. And then if I need to issue a correction, we'll do that. Hardware requirements. So this is requirements to run a Solana validator. Hardware requirements recommends a minimum of 12 physical cores for your CPU, at least 128 gigabytes of RAM to manage the throughput and storage. Storage, at least a terabyte solid state drive for ledger storage, recommended more for redundancy. And then network, you know, at least a gigabit per second, low latency, high bandwidth network speed. At least 500 megabits per second of upload speed, but 300 is the bare minimum. And then they give some recommendations on, you know, specific pieces of hardware that you can use for that. Operating system, they recommend Unix, specifically Ubuntu 20.04. I'd have to ask my dad about that. I don't know anything about Unix. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get to what's the SOL. Okay. To become a validator, secure the network, you need some SOL to stake. There is no set minimum amount, but validators typically need a significant amount staked by themselves or other delegators to be competitively selected by the network and earn rewards. You can either stake your own SOL or you can attract delegations from the community to your validator. So I guess there's no minimum amount. That's what I'm going to go fact check and make sure is correct. But
yeah, and it sounds like if you're a SOL holder, you can still stake your SOL in a meaningful way to secure the network, even if you don't validate it with a personal machine yourself.
Yeah. No, to be clear, when you stake, you do your part. I'm doing my part. You do your part when you stake.
Hey, Alex, what do you think about this comment from, I think this is Ace. Ace, I've lost your name. It's not our longtime friend Ace, which is not to say you aren't our friend. Ace Khan, a new Ace. Welcome, Ace Khan. Said, I need a crypto guru in my life.
No,
this person has been mining ETH, has bought a few years back, been holding, and they're getting a lot of advice in the comments, it looks like. And I just wanted to know what you think. I don't actually happen to have the appropriate sound loaded into my board for this one. I have.
This is a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
But I don't have gurus or idiots. I'm sorry to say. What do you think about that? Do you need a crypto guru, Alex? And what would you do instead?
First, just to answer Sonoran's question, will my dad ever do a live stream with us? I don't know. That'll be the day. Maybe. I don't know if my mom is here right now, but maybe. My dad can beat up your dad. Yeah. I will say, though, be careful what you wish for, because he's probably going to break all of your hearts. He's probably going to tell you that they're all bullshit.
Heartbreaker. Yeah. Probably will.
For example, I sent him a swath of decentralized storage options, and he spent a couple days looking through some of them. I sent him Cold Stack. I sent him Arweave. I sent him. We looked at IPFS, a couple other storage options, and he just said, "Why aren't we using Amazon?" And I was like, "Because crypto people say that it's centralized." And he's like, "Well, they're idiots. It's more decentralized than all of these things combined could ever hope to be. And almost all of these rely on AWS to function. And if AWS disappears, all of these things will go away as well. So just use Amazon." And I was like, okay. So we're doing our due diligence, but that's the analysis, the official analysis of a multi-decade software engineer, someone who's been in it since the beginning of software, somebody with a PhD from a pretty decent school, and yeah, someone who's had their hands in the building of some software and tools that probably half of the people in this audience right now are using as we speak.
Which is not to say that you shouldn't take well-informed advice.
Yes.
But, you know, Alan says down here, it would not hurt to have a crypto guru, family member, or friend to bounce off of. It absolutely is helpful. Like Alex, the fact that we have so many friends, I count you chief among them, that we could call anytime, ask a question to. If I don't know the answer, I know at least a dozen people who certainly have the answer, maybe somebody who built it. And that is invaluable to me. What you don't need, though, is somebody who's just going to spoon feed you, is what Alex always says. This stuff that won't help you become more self-sufficient. Most people we encounter who are talking on a microphone about this stuff to you, especially on TikTok, but also on YouTube, also on Twitter, they are trying to sell you something. They're not interested in helping you become more sufficient. They're interested in you paying attention to them. And like, don't get me wrong, we love that you make this show great too. Your attention is an incredibly valuable asset. It is an honor that you would share it with us. And that is why we take this so seriously. The best thing you could do instead of finding a crypto guru is to take whatever money you're going to invest in crypto, throw it under your mattress, put it in your bank, whatever, and then spend 6 months, spend a year. There's no rush learning this stuff, learning how to buy it and sell it, how to turn it back into cash, what a private key is, what a public key is. Like Alex said, there are some complex topics here, but they're not difficult to understand. If you spend 5 minutes every day reading on the toilet, you will become totally a pro who can confidently, safely navigate this space and answer that question for yourself, what should I buy, better than anybody anywhere on the internet could tell you. You don't need a guru. Gurus are idiots, Alex would say.
I would say. I have said.
I'll have to put that sound back on the soundboard, and in the meantime, I'll just have to find it and hope somebody gives me an equally appropriate opportunity to use it.
So I did confirm, by the way, there is no minimum amount of SOL to stake. However, you do have to vote on something to like opt in, I guess. So you technically need 0.002 SOL.
0.002?
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So you too can be helping secure the Solana network, earning some rewards for yourself. What's the best platform for that, Alex, for Solana specifically? Is there a good delegation platform? I mean, you can do it just about anywhere, but
to stake?
Yeah.
I do everything right out of Phantom itself. Yep.
That's what I do too.
Phantom has the native staking interface. You can look at your Phantom homepage. You can see the SOL that you hold. You click on it, and there's an option right there on the SOL page, looking at your balance to stake. Search for the validator you would like to delegate to, and off you go. I personally stake with Helios just because they're the biggest and I trust them the most.
And for people who don't understand a thing about what we said, Phantom is a free wallet app. They make it easy to start your own Solana network wallet where you can buy, sell, trade crypto. It's worth learning about. And if you want to learn more about staking generally, another platform to go to is Coinbase. Their coinbase.com/learn page is a great destination for learners at all levels of experience who want to understand what crypto is, how to use it, and the tools to do so quickly, safely. Highly recommend them. Show is not sponsored by Phantom or by Coinbase, but it certainly could be, and I would say should be. So if you've got a crypto question, let us know. Leave them below. If you're one of our friends, tap to come up. Like Alan says, not everybody has a crypto guru, and we are not your gurus, but we are happy to do our best to help you any way we can. In the meantime, Alex, the weekend is coming up. I think we had some financial data come out, and our friend Will is not here to explain the macro economy to us. What are we going to do, man? Is the market in the toilet? Is the market fine? I don't know. I don't know. I'm about to Google it, but I wish I knew.
It's just, it was up significantly. Lots of things have happened. Bitcoin is still over 60, but it's only just.
Yeah. And I will say too, since we mentioned Will and he's made this public, he experienced a real tough loss recently. One of his very good friends died in a motorcycle accident, and so if you see him on the internet, just give him a little extra love because big hearted guy. I can only imagine how hard that is to lose a friend like that you've been that close to. So send him your love. He's going to be back on the show soon. He's just taking some time to be with his friends and his family, and we want him to have that. Although he is missing some good shows. He missed, you guys are the same person in a different font. He missed Angel for the crypto taxes last night. Oh my God. If you are struggling to do your crypto taxes, you got to check out the episode we just did last night with our friend Angel. It's over on the YouTube page, the Rise Up After Dark playlist. He's a CPA, crypto user who took us through some of the changes that are coming up, some of the solutions you can use to start doing your taxes properly. And our recommendation, as always, remains check out Coinly. It's great for retail investors. It's at theriseupmorningshow.com. You can find the link, or I do believe it's coinly.io. Don't quote me on that. Check out the website. We've got the link there. And check out that episode because
it is .io.
Really good. Yeah, it gives me, I don't know, it gives me all my reports in about an hour every year. I put it off until the last possible minute. Alex and I probably both do. In about a week, we're going to be dead to the world doing our taxes for an hour or two, and Coinly will make it better for us. That's Alex, true. I don't see any news about these economic indicators except that it could be hugely bullish for stocks. And that's what I've got. We've got a monthly jobs report coming tomorrow. Department. That's what Will was telling us about. I know it's definitely Will's department. So maybe when you leave Will a nice comment, you can say, "Hey, how's that job report?" If it goes well, it could be bullish. If it goes poor, it could be bearish. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the economic news. Thank you. Thank you very much. Isn't there logic that does taxes automated? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I'm not sure either. I was just reading that. I know that you're horribly limited by character allowances in a TikTok comment, but if you can give us a little bit of a clarification there.
While we're waiting for that, Khalil's been having a really nice back and forth with us on YouTube. Okay. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, Khalil. Good friend of the show. Talking about the introduction of the ability now to trade options.
Yes.
People who are ETF holders are getting ETF options. Options, for folks who don't know, they're a trading instrument. They're a type of derivative like futures. They give you the option to buy or sell a token at a future price. In this case, an ETF. You got to know a little bit about it. And they're expected to bring some more volume to our space. And something I said to Khalil was, I think it'll be interesting to see how investors handle these services, because you'll have some investors who are familiar with them, some who are getting them for the first time. You're using them on Bitcoin, which is more volatile than probably the S&P stocks, et cetera, they're used to. And I said how scammers might try to take advantage of them as well, because whenever there's something new, the scammers always get there quickly. Khalil said scammers have no clue how to use this kind of market. Only traders can use this. It's learning and hard work. And he said, for example, do you think scammers can manipulate the S&P 500? And Alex, I want to know what you think about this. My concern is not necessarily that a scammer would manipulate the ETF or the S&P 500. My concern is that a scammer would see that options trading was a thing, spin up a really great website that advertises 200% yield, just send me your money. You don't have to do a thing. I will trade Bitcoin options for you. You've heard about it and you don't know what it is. You want to get in on it. This is the best way. And then you send your money to that website and it's gone forever. Like, that's the kind of scam I'm worried about. What about you? Do you think it's likely that a scammer could, I don't know, manipulate the S&P or change the instrument of the ETF or something like that? What do you think?
A specific individual? No.
A specific individual, or even North Korea and the Lazarus hackers.
I mean, that's more likely, but still unlikely. That would be wild.
Yeah.
That would be one of those things that I think we have bigger problems.
I would agree. I think you would have to break so many security standards, manipulate so many people. Is it impossible? No.
So here is an interesting thought. So EQ, one of our friends, another TikTok creator the other day, made a video where he was talking about, the potential dark side or the conspiracy theory, if you will, about the options trading being authorized for these Bitcoin spot ETPs. And he basically just said, one of the options here is that now BlackRock or whoever, someone who absolutely can move a market, can manipulate things down and up and capitalize in both directions. And so you're just as likely to get hyper volatile swings because they can short and still earn money while things are dropping like precipitously, just as much now as if they could go up. Because a talking point that we've seen is that now that these institutions are here, it's up only because they don't want to lose money. So they're going to push us higher and higher and higher in an effort. Now, I think there's some validity to that. I think it's a valid concern to hold. It's something I wouldn't discount completely. However, the stock market has existed for a long time. The stock market has allowed options trading for a long time. There are lots of ETPs using stock market assets that these large-scale financial institutions have held and used. I think that Bitcoin is undoubtedly more volatile than the stock market. You'd be crazy to say otherwise. However, we don't necessarily see wild manipulation of the overall stock market through ETPs just so that they can short. We kind of continually we go up and to the right over time. So I just thought it was really interesting. I would absolutely keep that in mind. I could totally see that being a thing. And I had just never considered it before, but it was a great video.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, just a little more context on options or longing or shorting. The simplest way to think about this is it is the option that you can make a bet, a short, for example, that in the future, the price of an asset will go down. That's why you call it shorting. You are hoping it will go down, become shorter. If you are longing something, you are making a bet that in the future, the price of that asset will go higher. It will be longer to the top of the chart. However you need to think about it in your mind. And you can pick a particular price target. The further the target is, the less likely it is, the more you can potentially make. If I say, I think, I don't know, a long or a short bet example would be like, you can long or short the idea that Donald Trump or Kamala Harris would win the presidential election. I could be supportive of Donald Trump and say, I'm long Donald Trump and short Kamala Harris. I could be really long and really wild and say, I'm long on RFK, who has dropped out of the race, kind of thing. It is Khalil is informing me an option is not a bet. Maybe a bet is the wrong word. An option is the right. I'm just trying to keep it simple, Khalil. It's the right to buy a thing at a determined price at another point in the future, but you are placing your confidence in a change in the direction of the price. That's just what I want people to understand. Different people will have different light bulb moments for this. It honestly took me a long time to wrap my head around the concept of what an option was. I don't know why it was so difficult for me, and I'm always interested in helping people have a light bulb moment for themselves.
It's not a bad comparison because every investment is a bet of some sort.
Yeah.
I would not say that an option is a caution. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that.
Well, and Khalil is, I believe, Khalil, you're a French speaker first. So first of all, you got to come on the show and speak to us in your lovely accent sometime. Second of all, if there's, a mistranslation, I'm sure it's, we might just be talking past each other, but don't fret about it.
Most likely.
Alex, we're getting to that point where it's almost well met time. Do you want to invite some last minute questions, give a final commercial, and then share our final thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom, and ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset?
Sure.
You got another story in there? I don't know. You're sure sounded tentative. You sad about it?
No. Well, I mean, always. It's the last day of the week.
Yeah.
Someone on TikTok says, market is weak, 50K Bitcoin incoming. To which I said, maybe. Who knows? Possibly. Maybe not.
But are you prepared if it does, is the real question.
Be agile. Have a plan for if it goes to 50. Have a plan if it goes to 40. Have a plan if it goes to 80.
That's right.
That's it.
And if it goes to, what did you say, 2 million, then just be sure to invite us over once you build the pool or buy the yacht, because we want to be there for that.
Yep.
Crypto Machinery asks, thoughts on CoinLedger. Is CoinLedger a wallet?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not positive.
I know CoinDesk. I know Coin Bureau. I know CoinMarketCap. I know Coinly. I know.
There's a lot of coins.
There's a lot of coins. I know Bitcoin. I know.
Platform. It's a platform for taxes. Curious how it compares to Coinly. I would have to look. I could not tell you.
I'm sure if it's a competitor to Coinly, that it probably is either one, just a different UX for people who probably like the same kind of experience. And I am also sure that the two products existing together will make each other better. Competition in that regard is almost certainly, at least at the early stages, good for you. We can look it up and we can reach out to them to sponsor the show. We could have a little friendly competition with Coinly and say, hey, might have to switch. Crypto Machinery will give you an answer for sure.
It's very expensive and makes me nervous. Is his follow-up.
I'm sorry.
Alan says that he uses CoinLedger. Okay. Alan, have you ever used any other ones? Can you compare it to anything, or can you synopsize your experience with it? He said it's good.
Okay, interesting. While we're waiting for more context, I'm going to answer Andrew's question. If you long or short, if it doesn't do what you expected, do you get liquidated, aka your deposit is gone? You can get liquidated when trading in a long or short position if you're using leverage. Liquidation occurs when the value of your bet, there's that word again, when your position drops below a certain amount. The exchange will automatically close your position. Your money's gone, just to prevent further losses. If you're long on an asset and the price falls too much, the more leverage you apply, the less room you have for it to fall. They'll take your money. If you're short on an asset and the price goes up, the more leverage you have, the less room it has to go up. They'll take your money. If you're just making a bet on whether the price will go up or down, you could lose your money too, but you've got more wiggle room. You've got the distance between you and your target. But as you apply leverage, that distance is cut. That's the price for them allowing you to use their money. And that's why leverage trading can be so risky, because one, it is tempting because you think to yourself, I'm losing the same amount of money either way, whether I leverage or I don't. But what is hard is you have to be more precise about the future, which no one can predict. So it's tempting if you do it well once or even twice or three times or whatever to think, oh, I'm great at this. And then you get over leveraged. It's a very quick way to lose money.
It is a quick way to lose money. The allure pulls lots of people in because, of course, it is the inverse is true as well. You need a smaller move to the upside to get a bigger increase in your investment. However, in something that is as volatile as this, it takes a lot less of a move to the downside to completely drain you.
Alex, I can't tell if this question is serious or if they're joking with us. And if you are being serious, I'm so sorry. I'm not picking on you. Can you ever lose more than you invested and go negative with cryptocurrency?
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's a serious question.
I think it is too.
In general, no. The most that you can lose is the money that you put in. But in the instance where, if you were legitimately like making a bet on something, then I guess technically, depending on the platform, maybe you could opt in to paying more than you. Not really. You'd have to really work to like lose more. With leverage, you cannot lose more than you invested. It's way easier too. So if you're making a leveraged move with 10x leverage, typically for your money to go to zero, you would need to lose the price of the thing would have to go down 100%. Then you would lose every penny you put in. But if you're betting with 10x leverage, it only has to go down 10% before you are liquidated for 100% of the money that you put in to that option, or that, excuse me, not option, to that position. So no, it just depends how quickly you lose it.
And it is possible and very easy for people here to invest more than they can afford to lose. If somebody sees, for example, they're in a leverage bet like that, and they know that if it goes down $10, they'll get liquidated. The platform often gives you an option. They say, well, we won't liquidate you, but you got to give us more money. Like, so we know that you're good for it to keep using our money. So they'll be like, okay, great. Let me go sell my pants. Let me go sell my car. Let me go do this. And they will keep applying more money to make the bet work out. Or somebody who sees the price of Bitcoin is going down or going up or whatever, they need it to go in one direction. They say, okay, let me just put more money in. If I just put more money in, I lost this one, I'll do the next one. It is very easy for people, because they see how quickly the markets move here. I would say it more than any other, financial speculative area I've been a part of. People spend more than they can afford to lose. There's a lot of hype, a lot of FOMO here. Don't get caught up in it. Alan gave us the context that you have to pay about $100 a year. And I wonder if that's at every level for Coin Ledger. Coinly also is, it has paid levels. It's free to a certain amount. I do believe still. They might have upgraded it so that like no plans are free anymore. But we can confirm it for you either way. We could maybe put a side-by-side of Coin Ledger, Coinly, and some other tax tools. Because, we use Coinly, but you don't have to. And if there's another good one, we want you to use it for sure. Ethicalish asks, pants? Why was that your first thought? How expensive are your pants? Listen, your bum is beautiful. Your legs are luscious. You deserve to have nice pants. I don't have nice pants, but I deserve to. That's my answer to that. Alex, you seen any questions that I'm missing, man? Oh, Alex, I seem to have lost you.
Sorry, I was typing and my keyboard's really loud. I think if there's anything that we need to follow up on, if you have any outstanding questions or things that you thought could not or were not answered fully, hit us up in Discord. We'll be around. That's where the show lives on 24/7. The information to join it is right above me if you're here on TikTok, and it's right over there if you're on everything else.
That's right. That's right. As my final answers on the way out the door, centralized exchanges are just fine. I want to read this comment. If you put $100 in and the crypto goes down 120%, you have zero. But if it goes back up 200%, you made money if you held on to it. That's a great comment. Study those words. Join us. If you're on YouTube, join us. We will be back Monday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time on all of these platforms. We will be in the Discord until then. You can check out Rise Up After Dark, last night's tax special episode on YouTube at Faceless_Labs, where all of these episodes go to live in the meantime. We welcome you to join the community. Don't forget to sign up for that class. It's this Sunday. It's free, capped at 15 people, or you can buy a recording for as low as $6. Web3 101, how to start using a wallet to buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency safely, what it is, why it matters, how to turn it back into cash in 2 hours with your questions. You're going to know more than 99% of all people about this stuff and be glad that you did. So join us there. Send us your questions there. Send us a DM if you can't get in the Discord. We love you. We're grateful for you. Thank you for being the very best part of the Rise Up Morning Show. And until next time, my friends,